Hello, I'm back.
Okay, so someone told me they were too scared to apply for a job because, and I quote, "What if I don't get it?" That's it. That was the risk. Not getting a job that they didn't already have. Drama. Absolute drama. And look, I get it. Risk feels massive. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff, like one wrong step and everything collapses. Your career, your relationships, your reputation, your entire life trajectory, gone. Just because you sent an email. But here's what I want to talk about today. An honest conversation, because we are blowing risk way out of proportion. And I say we because I've been guilty of this too. We all have. So let's talk about why you're probably being a little dramatic. So risk has become this enormous monster in our heads, and social media doesn't help, by the way. You post one wrong thing, drama. You start a business and it's slow, drama. You tell someone you like them and they don't feel the same, drama. We've essentially turned every uncertain situation into a potential catastrophe, a trauma-inducing event. But here's a question worth sitting with. How many of the things you were terrified of actually destroyed you? Like actually. Think back 5 years. Think about the risk you were sweating over, the thing that felt like the end of the world. Where are you now? Still here, probably. Maybe a little embarrassed about how stressed you were. Maybe a little embarrassed about the thing, but still here. The fear was real, the outcome, survivable, usually just fine. And this isn't just me saying it. Philippians 4:6 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Not be anxious about the big things. Not it's okay to panic a little. Anything. Paul wrote that, by the way, from prison. So when he said don't be anxious about anything, he wasn't sitting in a nice apartment with a steady income nibbling on a steak. He was locked up. And he still had the audacity to say, "Chill out, bring it to God." That's bars. I think the core of our drama around risk is that we are calculating it without factoring in the most important variable, God. We do all this mental math. We weigh the pros and cons. We imagine every worst case scenario. We ask 17 people for their opinion. We make a pros and cons list. And then we make another pros and cons list about the first pros and cons list. And at no point in that process do we stop and go, wait, who's actually holding my life? Remember Romans 8:31? If God is for us, who can be against us? And I like this verse because it has a little sarcasm if you read it, right? Like, who exactly are you scared of? What risk is bigger than God? Name it. I'll wait. Okay, so we have the job that might not come through, the relationship that might not work out, the business idea that might fail, okay? And God is still God through all of that. So what exactly are we panicking about? We've somehow managed to drama our way into forgetting that we serve a God who parted seas, who fed thousands of people with a kid's lunchbox, and raised people from the dead. But sure, your rent situation is probably the thing that's gonna break you. That's just drama. Straight drama to me. Here's something interesting. In the Bible, the phrase, "do not fear" or "do not be afraid" appears, depending on the translation, over 300 times. 300 times. That's not a coincidence. There are no coincidences, people. That's a pattern. And pattern in scripture means something. God kept saying it because we kept needing to hear it. Fear and risk aversion are not a new problem. Joshua felt them, Gideon felt them, Elijah felt them, and Peter literally watched Jesus walk on water and still panicked the moment he looked away. We are, to be fair, in very good company without drama. But Joshua 1 verse 9 is beautiful because God doesn't just say, don't be scared and leave it there. He gives the reason. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Wherever. Not wherever you go as long as it's safe. Now, wherever including the risky place, including the unknown, and including the thing that you're afraid to try. The presence of God doesn't disappear when things get uncertain. That's actually precisely when it becomes the most real. Okay, so let me level with your risk aversion for a little. What if the risk doesn't pay off? What if you try and it doesn't work? What if you leap and you land on your face? Valid question, real possibility. And I'm not here to tell you failure doesn't sting, because it does. But here's the thing. Even in failure, you're not outside of God's reach. Proverbs 3 verse 5 to 6 doesn't say trust in the Lord and everything will go smoothly. It says trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. Straight paths aren't always easy paths, but they're paths that go somewhere. And sometimes God uses the failed attempt or the closed door or that plan that didn't work out as the redirect, as the thing that reroutes you toward where you're actually needed or supposed to go. So the risk going wrong from your perspective might be it going exactly right from his. Not a reason to be reckless, obviously, but absolutely a reason to stop letting failure and fear be the thing that keeps you frozen. This ain't the movie. So here's where I land. Risk is real, uncertainty is real, and it's okay to feel nervous about things that matter to you. But drama, the spiral of what ifs that keeps you from taking steps that you know you need to take, that's fear cosplaying as wisdom. So, next time risk feels like the end of the world, pause. Bring it to God. Do the thing with prayer attached to it, and trust that the same God who was faithful before is faithful now. Because at the end of the day, risk isn't that serious when you know who's in charge. Selah.